What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Scoop with Brian and Mike. That's Brian.
What's up?
And I'm Mike. How was your weekend, man?
Oh, it was pretty good, man. The wife kept me busy. I got this room all painted up. And
she got you working, huh?
Yeah. And we went for a walk today. We grilled 2 days in a row, had hamburgers. Hardly ever eat. Yeah. Hardly ever eat red meat. What about your weekend, sir?
I pretty much did the same thing. Nothing.
Yep. That's all we can do, really.
Yeah, I know. Nothing we can do. Read the news. We got some news.
So we have a slightly, might be more than slightly controversial subject that we're going to discuss.
We're off the coronavirus for now, so we're going to go into some local news.
I mean, it sort of revolves around the coronavirus.
Oh, yeah.
But we're gonna refer to this article. It's from The Guardian.
Okay.
And this article was written by, let's see, who was it written by? Brian Armin Graham in New York wrote this article.
Okay.
So, the title of the article is Swastikas and Nooses. Governor slams racism of Michigan lockdown protests. And Mike came up with a story that wasn't this story, but I kind of just found this. And Mike found a story about the protests in Michigan, which is my home state. So Gretchen Whitmer, which is our governor in Michigan, says heavily armed men and Confederate flags at state capitol depicted some of the worst racism in awful parts of our history.
Has she been governor for a long time?
I think she got elected the last time around.
So it's not her first time as governor.
I believe this is her first term.
Oh, this is her first term.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
I think so. But forgive me, I'm not very politically active. I'm just going to put that out there. So criticize me if you will. So the article reads, Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan issued a rebuke of armed protesters who gathered inside the state capitol last week in defiance of the statewide lockdown orders, saying the demonstrators embodied some of the worst racism of the nation's history.
Wow. That's a pretty bold claim there.
Yeah. Let's go on to see what exactly did they do. Some of the outrageousness of what happened at our Capitol depicted some of the worst racism in awful parts of our history in this country, Whitmer said during his Sunday interview with CNN's State of the Union. Last week, Donald Trump had said of the protesters, these are very good people. Hundreds of protesters, many not wearing protective face masks and some armed legally with long guns, meaning like assault rifles, I assume, gathered inside the State House in Lansing on Thursday as lawmakers debated the Democratic governor's request to extend her emergency powers to combat the coronavirus pandemic. The tightly packed crowd attempted to enter the floor of the legislative chamber and were held back by a line of state police and Capitol staff, according to video footage posted by local journalists. Yeah,
the footage of the protesters trying to get into the floor, it's all over YouTube. If you search for Michigan protesters, it's like the first thing that pops up, and they were like jam packed in there. So
they were angry.
Yeah, they're mad. I mean, people all over are mad.
So Whitmer highlighted that the number of protesters was relatively small, but the imagery some of them used was a disturbing reminder of ugly elements of America's past. We know that people are not at all happy about Dude, I'm going to read this sentence, I promise. We know that people are not at all happy about having to take the stay-at-home posture, Whitmer said on Sunday. And you know what? I'm not either. But we have to listen to the public health experts, and displays like this one we saw in our capital are not representative of who we are in Michigan. There were swastikas and Confederate flags and nooses and people with assault rifles. That's a small group of people when you think that this is a state of almost 10 million people, the vast majority of whom are doing the right thing. So I have my own thoughts already. What do you think about swastikas and flags and Confederate flags and nooses and assault rifles?
Well, let's read the next paragraph, because then it can lead into some form of discussion here.
Okay.
So let me do it. All right. displaying the Confederate flag or other symbols of the slave-owning South during the American Civil War is usually seen as racist. While some claim they are celebrating Southern identity, it is widely seen as a racist symbol, deeply offensive to Black Americans. There is also an ongoing campaign to remove Confederate War statues from public display or rename streets and buildings which commemorate Confederate generals or politicians. All right, so there's people who like to display the Confederate flag because they say or they claim that it's Southern pride. All right,
like their heritage, their
yeah,
history.
Like they're like, oh, hey, I'm from, what are the southern states?
I'm from Kentucky, Alabama, whatever.
Like Louisiana, right? Louisiana, dude, it's in the South, right? Texas.
No, that's kind of like that's the Gulf Coast or whatever. That's the I think the South is kind of like Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina.
Okay, I'm bad with geography, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the furthest point south, but I think.
Yeah, but it's okay. All right.
When people refer to the South, I think they mean that kind of like belt. I think it's even referred to as the Bible Belt.
All right, Bible Belt. Okay, so
I'm not certain though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Whoever's watching, if you guys know what we're trying to talk about, let us know in the comments. But anyway, so there are people that say that it's a display of Southern identity. It's, I'm from the South, and this is a symbol of my pride of being from the South. So it's kind of like if you're Catholic or Christian, whatever, you wear like a cross around your neck, right? So I mean, but that's valid. But to some people, it's a reminder of America's past, and quite frankly, it's not. It's not like it was hundreds of years ago.
Right.
We're still kind of going through some of that shit now.
So from the top, I'm just going to preface this by saying that I mean the utmost respect to all these people that went to do what they did at the Capitol. However, I don't think this is very smart to just go there and gather with no face masks and assault rifles. And I don't know what is the point of bringing assault rifles? I don't understand this. Why do you need an assault rifle to go to the protest?
To protest in general.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Like they're just showing like we have the power. We're fucking badasses. It's, for lack of a better term, it just seems like a bunch of fucking morons.
You think because there's like weapons presence that it kind of like it escalates the scene to where it shouldn't be.
Potentially, it just
because if it was like a protest with no guns, it wouldn't be that kind of like tense, right? But since they brought guns, now they have to bring fucking security, fucking cops, maybe even National Guard, because I think they just want to be taken seriously. They just want to say like, look, we mean business. We want our state back open, open back up and everything. But I think that a lot of these people that are doing this, they're just complacent. They're just dismissing this coronavirus. They think it's no big deal. And if they were allowed to have their way, I think many more people would have died in this country. If people like this just said, leave it open, it would be a lot worse. And that's just my opinion. And they're entitled to their opinion. But so do you think they could have done it differently? I mean, obviously you're not in favor of them gathering like that, because that's not social distancing, regardless if they were wearing masks. The fact that they all were, it looked like there was 100 people, or maybe around 100 people, but they were all they're jam packed. They were all trying to get in, and so
how could they have done it better? I don't know. Just stay at home and just wait for the stay-at-home order to just.
I mean,
expire?
Done the protest better. Maybe do an online petition or send a representative to speak at the House floor. That kind of shit. They could have done that.
I think that
you would have agreed to that more so than what they're doing right now.
I mean, I think that no matter what they do, it's not going to make any difference. Yeah. Honestly, honest to God, they're protesting, whether they do it online or they do it live. They show up there. It's not going to make a bit of fucking difference what happens. It's not going to have any effect on the event.
Yeah.
In my humble opinion, they're just wasting time.
Yeah.
Dude, they tell you to wear masks. They tell you social distance. They tell you wash your hands. All that. These people don't give a fuck about any of that shit.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's more of like misinformation or lack of information rather than ignorance, or like because I can see like maybe some people are not readily informed.
I think
so they think they only know what they know, right? And they only know what they're being told.
Let's think about for a moment, like all the information we have at our fingertips. We have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have whatever the fuck, wherever people hear shit from, right?
Yeah.
Their friends. Oh, I heard it from so-and-so, or they watched it on fucking Fox News or CNN or whatever. I mean, pick your poison, right?
Yeah.
But all this information that you're getting is not always accurate.
Yeah,
no matter where, kind of Facebook information might not be accurate. Twitter information might not be accurate. Might be tilted to one way or the other, left or right, whatever. I don't really care about politics, but like these people probably have heard a fair amount of information that say that the governor's overreacting, and like, I don't know, man. I think you should listen to the doctors and the people that are trained to know how to handle the coronavirus, and not listen to what people are saying on Twitter or Facebook. And personally, that's probably, I would think that would be the cause of this. Is just people talking too much, and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they're just getting together and blah, 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 blah. They're like a bunch of old biddies at a gin game, just flapping their fucking gums, and they don't know what they're talking about.
There's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of frustration right now because like people have been self-isolating for what I think we're approaching 2 months now. So like I can see where there's a lot of fucking cabin fever is starting to kind of like mess with people's minds, and they're like we're fucking we're going crazy here, and it's like they don't care what's going to happen now. To give like a little update on a previous story that we talked about, the Georgia opening, right? Mm-hmm. So they did a soft opening, and then I think I saw in the news, I forgot which news outlet it was. It said that they like, I think as soon as they started opening, like a few days after, they just had like 1,000 new coronavirus cases.
Yeah.
So it's like makes you wonder, is Georgia gonna close again? Right? Because like if they're gonna if shit starts to pile up, are they gonna like, is the government gonna be like, oh shit, my bad, I fucked up, let's close the fucking house? Right? Like I just wanted to fucking let the air in, but I didn't know these fucking I didn't know the virus was gonna come in, so I was like, gotta close the house.
Remember we did the story about New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
And they locked down and they were super strict.
Yeah.
Population of 5 million, 17 deaths. Okay.
Yeah.
What happens when you don't lock down? America.
Yeah.
Like it's just numbers, man. It's math. I don't know how anybody, I just don't understand. I don't understand how people could be so silly. I just don't have any words. I just think this is stupid. To go and storm the Capitol and try to nothing.
It's kind of like having a kid, right? Because like the kids kids will do whatever, not care about the consequences. And then as parents or as guardians of little kids, children, we have to look out for their own well-being, their we
have to protect them from themselves.
We have to protect them from themselves, because like they could do stupid shit and they don't know, they don't care. So we have to be like, hey, you can't do that, right? And our kids are gonna hate us for it, but hey, you're alive. Right? So it's just people acting out, right? Because they're being, they feel like they're not to say like it's like prison, but they feel like
they feel like they're being wronged in a way. Like they feel like their rights are being taken or whatever. And I totally understand that they should have a right to protest or whatever. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but at the same time, did you know that there was nurses that work in the hospitals that were protesting these protesters? Like they were driving around in their cars, and the nurses were stepping out into the road and blocking their path so they couldn't drive their car.
Yeah.
And because the nurses are saying, like, you haven't seen what we've seen. You idiots would all be at home if you knew what we were going through. Now you're gonna all be, together. You're not gonna social distance, and guess what? You're gonna fill up our hospitals because you're all gonna, pass the virus between one another. And then and they were saying, please stop doing this. You're just making it worse.
Yeah. But, and the nurses, they're all working longer shifts.
Yeah.
Right. And it's crazy. And because they have families too, guys, they have to come home too, to their husbands, their wives, their children. So it's not like, they don't have anyone to protect too. So if they're exposed to the virus, like they don't want to have to harm their families too. So
right.
Like we gotta think about everybody, not just yourselves. Got to think about everybody.
I understand where they're coming from, right? People want to go back to work. There's a lot of, I know there's just a lot of people that are struggling financially, whatever. The whole economy's upside down, but dude, it just is what it is. You can't change it. You can't. There's nothing you can do about it except, I think. Let's
hope that second round of Trump checks come in, man.
Yeah.
Right. Second round of Trump checks. $2K a person.
$2K a person.
$2K a person, man.
We'll see if it happens. I don't know. We got a pretty decent comment in our last video about that from this one guy. He said that he doesn't think it's going to happen. He made pretty good points. I feel like I learn every time I read this guy's comments.
I know, right? I feel like we're just a couple of idiots talking, and then like people, the smarter people just come on and just kind of like teach us. And I'm like, oh hey.
Yeah, there was a Facebook group for the people that were going to storm Lansing, which is our capital, Lansing. And there was over 100,000 people last I heard. Like 130,000 people.
So like a lot of supporters then for that.
Yeah, but not that many of them actually went to the thing, right?
Yeah.
It was a very,
not everybody has a gun.
That's what I don't understand. I just don't understand.
Not everybody has an AR-15.
What do you need a gun for? I'm looking at this picture. Like it's on the article,
Let me scroll up. Let me know. Like, oh yeah. So the three guys, right?
Like this dude's got like clips and ammunition in his little camo, like what?
Yeah.
And the dude's got the assault rifle. Looks like an AR-15 with a scope on. Another dude's got another AR-15. And he's got a big banana clip sticking out of this thing. Are they expecting that they're going to go to Lansing and just go to war? Like, what is the purpose of this? Please explain this to me.
Yeah, right.
I don't understand.
It makes you wonder, right? Like, okay, so they're coming in hot, right? They're coming in hot. I'm assuming all that shit's loaded, right? So, were they? I guess I want to ask, like, were they expecting some sort of like volatile resistance, right?
And furthermore, if they came up against resistance from like the state police or the National Guard, do you think these guys pose any kind of a threat to the National Guard? They would neutralize these guys in 5 seconds. They'd be wiped out. All right, comments, put them below, and then
let us know what you think
tomorrow with another story.
Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and give us some likes.
Ring the bell.
Get notifications.
Yep.
And then we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Peace.
Peace.